All right, so here is your first question. Which is the ideal real-time staffing method for healthcare with changing data like pending discharges? Go ahead and log in your answer. 35 seconds left. All right, and it looks like first off, the correct answer was real-time analytics. You had a few that picked different answers, but at least now you will know that this was in fact the correct answer. You need real information, real-time information to deal with things like pending discharges. Okay. All right. So on the leaderboard, we have Kimmy at the top. But this game, anything can happen. Here we go. Just to give you more information about this question, real-time analytics involves analyzing data as it's generated, enabling immediate decision-making, right, based on current information. So that's why that was the answer to that question, okay? All right, let's go on to our next question. When the patient care process and life cycle of the record exists in a paper-based and in a electronic format, it's what type of record? You guys answered that speedy fast. All right, yes, hybrid. And that is in the textbook as a definition. So make sure that you know what that definition is. If you have joined the game, you have missed the first two questions, but it's not too late. If you want to join the game pin is at the bottom of the screen. Kahoots.it to join. All right, see our scoreboard here. All right, Kimmy's still at the top here. It's anyone's game. Which health record component, mainly in HIM, describes data to improve quality? And you guys have 50 seconds, so you can take your time, but also remember that you're being scored based on how quickly that you answer. So just remember that. All right, the answer here was actually data dictionary, and that's used to improve quality. Standards was the answer. I could see people thinking that's the answer too. That's also a good close one, but the actual answer here was data dictionary. All right, and Kimmy's on a roll here with her streak, and Steph is right behind. Okay, and just in case you don't know what a data dictionary is a reference document that describes the data elements used in a database or system. So it'll have definitions, characteristics, attributes, and relationships of data elements, which aid in maintaining data quality and consistency within the health information management context. That's why they're so important to have a data dictionary, and they love this term on the RHIA, so please be sure that you know all that you can about the data dictionary. All right, moving on. Which data set is appropriate for documenting an elective surgery procedure without an overnight hospital stay? Which data set? All those acronyms coming back to haunt you. What do you guys think? All right, the correct answer was Uniform Ambulatory Care Data Set. Okay, that was the correct answer. Most of you got that correct. Some few other options that were selected. Let's see. Steph came up. Game, it's anyone's win right now. Got a new visitor, guys. Welcome to the game. We have already started, as you can see, but you can join in on the fun. The pin is at the bottom as well as the website to log in. So you can jump in at any moment here. All right, and for those that were here, this is the definition. So Uniform Ambulatory Care Data Set, what is that? That is designed for documenting ambulatory care encounters, including elective surgical procedures that do not require an overnight hospital stay. So that was literally the definition of what that was, that particular question. It captures essential information about outpatient services provided in various healthcare settings. There's tons of acronyms, as you guys know, on the RHIA exam. These are some of them, these two. Some of these are actually fake, but these two are real. And so you want to make sure that you know these acronyms, how they're used, in what scenario, etc. All right, next question. When designing a data collection form for patient admissions, what should be the initial resource? Designing a data collection form for patient admissions. 48 seconds. And take your time and think about it if you need time to think about it. You don't have to rush. All right. So the correct answer here was now UHDDS. Okay, that was the correct answer. Mohammed is coming, guys. He's coming up. It's anyone's game. Just to explain what, that term for you guys, UHDDS stands for Uniform Hospital Discharge Data Set, and it provides standardized guidelines for data elements that should be collected during a patient's hospital admission. It serves as a foundational resource for designing a data collection form to ensure consistent and accurate data capture. So that's why that was the answer there. All right, so that was domain 1. How does everyone feel about domain 1? I can see you in the chat. How's everyone feel? Good, bad, okay. How was that round? Let me see. Pretty good, good, okay. All right, well, let's head on down to domain 2. Next question. A patient asked for PHI on May 21st, but there's been no response by July 2nd. What's the correct interpretation? Is it a HIPAA violation or not, and why? All right, it looks like we had a split here. The answer is that it's actually not a HIPAA violation. The physician's office has 60 days to respond. Okay, so this question is all about knowing those timelines. If you guys watch my last post on my YouTube channel, you'll see that knowing timelines are big for the RHIA, and this is one way that they could present this question to you. So you have to know your timelines. All right, let's see how the board looks now. Mohammed's on top. Steph is right behind. Okay, Saley, Bria, and then Kimmy. All right, it's still anyone's game. So let's head on over to the next question. According to HIPAA this is actually just more information, but according to HIPAA regulation, covered entities are required to respond to PHI access requests within 30 days. However, there has been an extension of up to 30 additional days if certain conditions are met. Therefore, in this case, the physician's office did not violate HIPAA, and they still had time within the 60 days. Okay, so 30 but then there's some loopholes there, okay? Just some information for you guys. All right, next question. Which requirement must a covered entity meet to comply with the HIPAA security rule? Which requirement? "45 seconds. Take your time. Got to read it carefully. Yeah, there's about 9 of us on here and 7. So I know there's 2. You got about 14 seconds for the last 2. 10 seconds left. Okay. So the correct answer here was to ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Okay. So it was all about knowing those terms, right? That's what I was testing here. And it looks like Steph is on top now. All right. Now, the HIPAA security rule mandates that covered entities must safeguard electronic protected health information, or EPHI, by ensuring its confidentiality, integrity, and availability. These principles aim to protect patient data from unauthorized access and alteration, and ensures its continued accessibility when needed. So this is also found in the HIM textbook, okay? So just know those terms, those 3 terms, those principles. All right, next question. The administrative simplification portion of Title I of HIPAA addresses which of the following? About 20 seconds left. All right, so the correct answer here is creating standardized forms for information release throughout the industry. So no one got that one right. So definitely make sure that if you haven't heard of that before or read through that, that you just take a gander at it, okay? The RHIA has so much information. There's so many things that can be, tested. And so you want to make sure that you kind of just look through stuff, So you're still on top. Steph. All right, let's go to the next one after this. So this is gonna aim to standardize various administrative aspects of healthcare, including the creation of the standardized forms for the release of health information across the industry. And this also will help streamline processes and improve efficiency in healthcare operations. So kind of makes sense, right? Administrative kind of ties into the purpose there. So if you didn't know that before, now you do. Learn something new today. All right, what aids a healthcare entity in proactively ensuring appropriate access to stored information? Now read that carefully. Oh, there is music too. Let me add the music. There you guys go. "20 seconds. All right, the answer is the security audit. That is the correct answer. Looks like it was a mixed vote here. See what happened on the board. Oh, look at that. She's up at the top. I'm telling you, it's anybody's game, okay? Anybody's game. All right. So what is a security audit? A security audit helps healthcare entities ensure that the information that is stored is assessed only for legitimate purposes in the normal course of business. It evaluates the system's security measures, access control, and user activities to prevent unauthorized access and data breaches. Okay, so if you didn't know what a security audit does or how it helps a covered entity or an entity, then that is the answer. Now you know. All right, so once again, your success is your success is our success as far as RHIA Essential. So as we're going through this, I want you guys to just know that there are free resources out here. So if you are looking for free content as you're studying for your RHIA, we do have a YouTube channel. Just search for RHIA Essential on YouTube to find it. And there's also free resources as well on the website. So if you do want a free formula sheet or even a 60-day study plan, that's free on the website along with study tips if you haven't seen it before, just FYI. All right, back to the game. We're now at domain 3. So how did everyone feel about domain 2? You got a little stuffy in domain 2. How does everyone feel? I'm looking at the chat. Okay, I see a thumbs up. Words were tricky. Yep, that is the RHIA for you. The words are gonna be tricky. That's why I did that on purpose. The wording, right? That's something that you're gonna have to get practice and kind of get used to, because that is the RHIA for you. All right, so I'm happy you guys are tricked right now, because it will hopefully push you to, do as many questions as possible. Okay, let's go to domain 3. Here we go. Which element focuses on creating common behaviors and standards for health information exchange among HIE participants? And if you just joined, feel free to go ahead and put in the pin and join along. We're about halfway through though, but it's still anyone's game. About 25 seconds left. All right, so only 2 of you got it right. The answer was actually governance. The answer was governance. All right, and let's dig more into that and see what happened to the board. Okay, pretty consistent. Okay, HIE governance, it refers to the establishment of shared behavior and standards that enable seamless health information exchange among participants. It ensures that the exchange operates effectively, securely, and follows agreed upon protocols. So governance, anything dealing with governance is you trying to have order, right? And protocol, and that's also present in HIE as well. All right, next question. Which standard crucial for successful exchange of laboratory data between community hospital and local physician clinics? Which standard? You guys answered that one fast. Which standard? All right, everyone got it right, except for a few people. The answer is LOINC, okay? So laboratory, I want you to always hear the word laboratory and just think about the word LOINC, okay? Laboratory data. So that is gonna be the standard. All right. All right, and you are still on top. Good job. Kenzie's right behind you, though. Sure is, so is Kimmy. All right, let's go on to the next one. Just to learn more about loin care, this standard is used for identifying and transmitting laboratory and clinical observations, such as test results. It enables the effective exchange and interoperability of laboratory data between different healthcare entities. So if you are working in a implementation role or something like that, then you may hear LOINC standards when it comes to trying to connect systems, okay? For lab stuff. Okay. Which aspect of EHR specifically monitors infectious outbreaks and childhood immunization rates for public health? Which aspect of an EHR? Worded kind of weird, but I want you to look at what it's monitoring. What makes the most sense? Got about 30 seconds left. No rush, you still have time. If you don't know, think about it. All right, everybody pick population health except for a few, and the answer is, in fact, population health. Population health. Let's see what happened to the board. A little shuffling, okay? So population health focuses on tracking and reporting health trends, including infectious disease outbreaks and immunization rates, to public health agencies for proactive management and response. So if you didn't know what population health is, now you know, okay? Let's go to the next one. What is the term for the probability of committing a type 1 error based on a specific data set? If you watch my channel, I actually have a video about this whole thing in my stats video. Shameless plug, check it out. All right, so looks like most of you didn't get it right. The answer was p-value, p-value. All right, so please, if you were like thrown off, please check out the video on my channel, the stats video. I go over this whole concept and I break it down as much as I can. So please check it out. But the p-value is going to represent the probability of observing a test stat as extreme. This one calculated from the sample data, assuming that the null hypothesis is true. A smaller p-value suggests stronger evidence against the null hypothesis and is often used to determine the significance of the result in hypothesis testing. And that sounds so confusing, I know. If you check out my video, I promise you it will make a whole lot more sense because I break it down. So check out the video stats on my channel. Okay, that was domain 3. What's everyone's thoughts on 3? I'm checking the chat. How do you guys feel? You can kind of see where you're needing to kind of study more or less. Any feedback? She did better here than on the RHIA. That's good. That's good. Good, okay. All right, we are about to jump into 4, which, as everyone knows, is dealing with revenue management. So let's see what I have in store for you guys. I need to study more. That's good that you know, like recognize, you know what, I need to study some more. That's the whole purpose of this, learning and growing and doing better. That's good. That's a good thing. All right, next question. For inpatient rehab facilities, they need a minimum percentage of patients with which Specific condition. You're like, what the heck is this, right? Random fact, but may pop up. If you don't know, you can just guess. It's okay. We're here to learn. All right. The answer was brain injury. Most of you got that right. A few didn't, and that's okay. If you don't know it, like Bria said, she's writing down every term she doesn't know. So if you don't know something and you see it on this screen, write it down and learn it. That is what I want you guys to take away from this. If y'all like, I don't know this thing, but I'm going to write this down so that I know it next time I see it. All right, still on top there, Sally, still on top. All right, brain injuries in the context of an IRF. This is just having a certain percentage of patients with brain injuries is one of the conditions that facilities must meet or must fulfill to meet the IRF definition. And this just ensures that they are focusing on providing specialized rehab services to their patients. So if you were a manager at one of these facilities, then you would need to know this in order to do your job properly, right? So questions like this are very important to know, especially for the new RHIA coming out. All right, next question. What does a clinical documentation improvement or CDI program aim to prevent, helping coders achieve accurate coding? And read the question carefully. The answer is upcoding. Only 2 of you got that. Upcoding. That is what the programs are trying to help prevent. They don't want people upcoding. All right. Let's see what happened to the board. Stay the same. All right. So one of the key goals is to prevent upcoding, which involves, if you don't know what upcoding is, this is when you assign a code that indicates a more severe diagnosis or higher level of service than is what's actually supported in the documentation. Okay, so this will help, by having these programs, they will help maintain compliance with coding guidelines and regulation. Okay, so the answer was upcoding. You had to know what upcoding was and then apply it to this question. Very RHIA-like, right? All right, next question. Who is responsible for resolving issues related to failed NCD and LCD edits in observation accounts? Who's responsible? We are responsible, HIM, we are responsible for those things, not patient access, not the accounts department, not the utilization, no. The HIM department will be responsible for that. All right. All right, can we move up? We handle coding, we handle documentation, we handle national coverage decisions, and we also deal with that local coverage determinations to ensure accurate billing and compliance. That's what we do. Some of us, not all of us, some of us. Okay. Which legislation mandates financial institutions to create written programs to address medical identity theft? Which legislation? All right. So the answer was Fair and Accurate Credit Transaction Act. There was a tie between that and the High Tech Act, which is dealing more with just having EHRs and technology be used in healthcare. So that's definitely not the answer. So if you guys didn't know all these different rules and legislation, please be sure you do and jot those down. It'll also be on YouTube as well. But just so you guys know, you have to know these things backwards and forwards. All right, she's still on top. And it just says that it just requires that information. But this act is in the textbook and you can find it online as well. Okay, our last domain, domain 5. How was domain 4? Feedback on domain 4. Was that better? Was it worse? Okay, someone loves rev management. It's good. Pays well. Okay, everyone's ready for 5. Okay, I'm gonna go. So here's 5. Which learner prefers hands-on EHR interaction, clicking screens, and developing workflows? Which type of learner? All right, that was a mixed basket. Kinesthetic was the answer. You're probably wondering, why do I need to know this? Because as you are working with, or if you are in a job that requires you to have to work with other staff, clinical staff, to help them learn how to use technology, or maybe you are an actual manager or something, you have to understand ways to ensure that your clients or your coworkers are able to adapt to technology. So that's why this is here, and it's also in your textbook, these terms. So it is in there. Project management. All right. So these learners best understand and retain information through hands-on activities and physical interaction, such as clicking through screens and developing workflows. All right, next question. Why might a hospital require managers to track and report employee absences? Why? All right, it looks like one person got it right. It is to monitor potential connections to healthcare associated infections. Let's see what happened to the scoreboard. Let's dig a little deeper. So tracking employees' absences helps identify patterns related to healthcare associated infections. And this is important to assess if staff presence affects infection rates. So yes, they want you to be there on time so that, they know that you're there to work, but there's other things that they're tracking, right? Especially in the clinical setting, such as infections. More management thought, right? What's the term for accrediting bodies, not government, assessing hospital compliance with Medicare rules? What's the term for accrediting bodies, not government, assessing hospital compliance with Medicare rules? A accrediting body that assesses hospital compliance with Medicare rules. What's that term for that entity? What can we call them? They have deemed status, and that is just a definition in the textbook. When you have deemed status, that means that you're able to assess hospital compliance with Medicare rules. They're like contractors for that. So you definitely want to know that term if you didn't know that. Credentialing is for submitting insurance, right? It's not for compliance. That's just to be able to get money, insurance reimbursement, right? So that's a completely different term there. All right, Sally's still on top. And this is the definition. An example, so this refers to the recognition by the government that accredits organizations like the Joint Commission that have already assessed and confirmed compliance with regulatory requirements such as Medicare, COP for hospitals. All right, and this is going to be our last question. Which area requires ongoing data collection and improvement according to the Joint Commission? This is within the Joint Commission. I hate these questions, but they are on the RHIA. Which area? $25 seconds. All right, it looks like most everyone got it right. Operative procedures, medication management, blood product use. That is correct. And this is in the Joint Commission. So when they tell you to know what Joint Commission is, you have to also understand some of these details like this, all right? So all of this is in the Joint Commission, somewhere in their documentation, their mandates. And as a manager, you have to know that, right? All right, third place, RHIA. All right, second, Kenzie. First place, who are you? All right. So good job, everyone. We had some runner-ups there, Kimmy and Steph. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give first, second, and third place a gift card. So please be sure that you gave me the right email address because you will receive a gift card from me from this experience. All right, and for just doing a good job here on game night.